afternoon. What's new? Me, I'd like to talk about rate of change and what difference that makes to the way that we operate. We talk a lot about an increasingly speedy competitive environment. Things are moving faster. That I've done some research looking at the Forbes Fortune 500 over the last 60 years. And the rate of volatility in that index, which was flat for the first 40 years or so, has doubled over the last 15. So, the chances of your company as a major, mature, global organization being beaten and losing its post by other people coming up and by you shrinking down has doubled. That has some meaning. That has some pretty strong meaning. But I think this something that is much more tangible to us, and there's two rates of change that I'm noticing across the people I've been speaking to. And I'll speak about them more, but I'd like to draw your attention to those two here. One is the rate of change where their product development cycle, as in the time it naturally takes for you to build, develop, and release and market a product through to the point where it actually becomes profitable, is approaching and converging and crossing with the rate of change in the market. Now, many industries are already seeing this, many are yet to see it. Every industry has a different rate of change and is exposed to this in a different way. But what that means is for organizations, many organizations who are across that boundary, by the time you see an opportunity for a product and start your development process naturally will be so long that you will miss your opportunity in the market. You have to find some way of reframing your entire development process into a more rapid and agile fashion. That's one. The other one I think is even more fundamental than that, and I think affects an even broader cross-section of the community, and that is the depth of change in business culture, where you start to look at agile, where you start to look at different sets of impacts of technology, of governance practices, of accountability, and you look at the rate of change of what is required for an organization to stay competitive, and you compare that to the generational change within that organization's management, executive, and board. And I think we're seeing that same crossover, where for many organizations we are approaching the point where the rate of change that is required in renewal of an organization's focus and governance and disciplines and culture and feel is moving faster than the rate of change of the people who are leading that organization and their ability to effectively lead and motivate that change. And that is going to be a crisis for those organizations who cannot adapt. And the same answer is true. We can't change the generational timeline, but we can change the rate at which our leaders adapt and our capability and their capability to move and to grow and to change. And without that, crossroads. Talk to you soon.